Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 10, Episode 5. Let the mouse go. What does that mean? I'm dying to find out. But before we begin, I just wanted to give a happy belated Mother's Day to all of you out there who are mothers to human babies or to fur babies or who just act like a mother to somebody. Happy Mother's Day to you. And just in case you guys were wondering if Mr. Informed knows me at all, this beautiful barrette was my Mother's Day gift. I don't know if you guys can read it. I'm going to try and go close, but it says Bravoholic. He was very excited to give it to me, so it was really cute. So I hope you all were able to have a nice day in spite of the unusual circumstances that we are all currently living in. I'm really hoping there's an end in sight, guys. In the meantime, let's entertain ourselves with this crazy bunch of ladies. We pick up almost mid-sentence from where we left off last week. Rinna's like, Kyle, let's get to the bottom of this. Were you already mad? And she's like, no, I wasn't. I swear. I'm sorry. I think it's weird that you have to be in hair and makeup for 2 hours before going to work out. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think that's weird. And you're super jealous. My theory is that nobody wanted to go to this retreat. It was all a show of support and or Bravo said, some of you guys have to go. So I think she's mad that she had to do it all because she's Teddy's friend. And if she doesn't set a good example of somebody supporting Teddy, nobody will. So everyone's kind of going back and forth, yelling and talking over each other. And Sutton goes, I know what it is. And she's kind of right next to Garcelle, or she's near enough that Garcelle heard her. And she goes, well, what is it? And Sutton goes, well, if they would be quiet long enough. And they're just getting louder and louder. And Garcelle's like, just say it. Sutton, girls, listen to me. Somebody's like, well, just hold up for 1 second and listen. Sutton, no, I'm not going to listen to you. Children, Dorit, zip it for 2 seconds. Dorit's like, really? Everyone finally gets quiet and she goes, it's because of the I have a life comment. I think that really resonated with her. We get the flashback to Kyle saying, what were you doing? And Dorit saying, I have a life, Kyle. The next thing after that is Kyle going, oh, seriously? And I don't? But I don't think that's how Dorit meant it. I think Dorit was just defending herself from Kyle saying, what were you doing all day? Like she has nothing to do all day and she could have come. I mean, the fact of the matter is her husband is out of town and she took her kids to school. I don't know. She says she did. I'd be a little surprised that it wasn't the nanny that did it. But who knows? You know, Jagger may have been begging for her to do it. So it's within the realm of possibility. I do know that I believe it was the year before last, I suggested that the nannies may only give her the children for about 15 minutes a day. That may have been unfair. So, I mean, Sutton may be partially right that there is something to that because there was a misunderstanding there. Okay, well, Dorit says, I didn't mean it that way, Kyle. Somebody said, well, you know, came out kind of sharp. And now Kyle is like, didn't you? Because, I mean, you know, she's working on Chicago. She managed to come and I've got my clothing line and I'm in a movie. This is Kyle's opportunity to just rattle off all the things she's got going on in her life. So after Kyle goes on and on about everything she's doing, Garcelle said, well, we're all busy. And Kyle's like, you know what? Let's break it down. Let's break it down. Because everybody here has an opinion about everybody else, and nobody is being really honest about it. Dorit goes, who's not being honest? And she goes, it's a f***ing comedy show. Everybody is so busy kissing each other's asses, I can't take it. And Garcelle's talking head, she goes, wait a minute. At Kyle's dinner party, was Kyle being fake? Then we get a flashback to her telling Garcelle, I didn't know how fabulous you were. Well, Garcelle tries to pinpoint Kyle and said, what have I not been honest about? And Kyle's like, I don't know. And she goes, no, don't say I don't know. What have I not been honest about? And so Kyle goes, well, I'm not singling you out, Garcelle. Garcelle's like, I don't know what to do. I can't help her if she won't even talk about it. Okay, now Rinna is being so annoying to me right now because the fact of the matter is, Kyle did defend Rinna over her own sister. But now Rinna's issue is, but it wasn't always Kyle. Okay, so no matter what you do, even when you were like going off the rails at that Halloween party when you were dressed up as Erika Jane, Kyle was supposed to defend you? Yeah. I don't like when you make me be on Kyle's side, Lisa, but you're doing it right now. Do I think that Kyle lost her friendship with Lisa Vanderpump because she was defending Dorit? No. Kyle said a whole bunch of stuff that had nothing to do with Dorit. In fact, I would say the biggest issue that they had that was seemingly unresolvable was the fact that Kyle believed that Lisa was leaking stuff to the press. I mean, obviously, part of it was her believing Dorit and not believing Lisa, but Kyle had certain thoughts about Lisa Vanderpump in her own brain. And it was, do I think you're capable of leaking a story? Yeah, I do. That has nothing to do with Dorit. In fact, I believe we got a flashback to seasons before Dorit with that one. So that didn't have anything to do with Dorit. Kyle, you lost your best friend because you had reached your limit with her, and that's that. So anyway, Kyle is very upset with Rinna. I don't totally blame her about that. She's crying, she's a mess, and she's like, I can't do this anymore. And she leaves, and Mauricio goes after her, and Teddy goes after her. And I'm sorry, did they go into a porta potty? Is Denise not letting people in her house to use the restroom? It's not like this was a rager that the kids had. I'm not sure. Maybe it wasn't, but there was this trailer parked in the driveway, and they went up some steps and into a door, and Teddy followed her in. It was either an outdoor toilet or like a fun house. Maybe there's like a maze of mirrors in there. That would be so funny. If Kyle's like, I can't take this conversation anymore. I'm going to go through the mirror maze. Anyway, back at the table, Denise is like, well, gosh, goodbye. At least say goodbye. Sutton. Well, they didn't say thank you. I think that's worse. And Denise is like, well, I don't care, but thank you for saying that. Now Kyle and Teddy exit the fun house. They don't look like they had fun, so guessing it was a toilet? I don't know. Anyway, Mauricio's like, what do you want to do, honey? And she said, I want to go home. Everyone is just so full of shit. I can't stand it. So they say goodbye to Edwin and Teddy, and then they leave. And Teddy's like, now they created something where, like, I can't even go follow her because it's going to seem weird. So they actually come back to the table. Rinna goes, what's really going on here? Dorit, everyone, in her mind, is fake-ass bitches. Teddy, guys, do you know what happened? When people are crying and you keep asking her questions, it doesn't get better. You gotta back off. And Dorit's like, nobody was attacking her, Teddy. And she goes, it was a lot of people coming at one person. Rinna goes, what were we supposed to do, Teddy? Tell us what the right thing to do would have been. And she said, talk amongst ourselves and let that person recover. So it's the rules according to Teddy. Teddy's not wrong. The way you would behave if it really was a friend, you would table the discussion, even though you didn't get the answers you want or whatever. You would table it. You would let her calm down. You would let her cool down. You know what I mean? Teddy's kind of right. But obviously that doesn't make good television. And obviously I don't think these women really are close friends in real life. Well, the dinner party kind of comes to a screeching halt when Teddy and Lisa sort of go at it, and Lisa says she was just trying to get to the bottom of what was really going on with Kyle. Yeah, it just, everyone felt exhausted and wanted to go home. Okay, now we are at a fashion shoot for DNA, which is a new clothing line that Lisa's daughters, Amelia and Delilah, have started. The most interesting part about this is Delilah put a mask on at some point. And I just think it's very ominous foreshadowing. I don't know if the mask was part of the collection. I do know that a lot of designers are making masks now. So Lisa came in and she said, she kind of did air kisses, and she goes, I don't want to get any closer because I don't want to get sick. So she must have been sick. And then Amelia said, should I put a mask on? And they laughed. And I thought that was weird. But then when I saw Delilah with a mask, it was like weird foreshadowing for the future. Well, Rinna managed to work her way into that photo shoot. She wanted to try something on, and then somebody suggested, we should just shoot you in the outfit. And she's like, oh, really? Don't have to twist my arm. I bet your daughters loved it. Next, we are with Denise and Erika, and they are meeting for coffee. Erika tells her she had such a good time at her house the other night, and Denise is like, well, I mean, it started off nice. And Erika said, sorry for being like a potty mouth in front of the kids. She's like, I felt so bad because Eloise was there. And she's like 11. And Denise goes, well, it was more so like the older kids because they understood kind of what the conversation was about. So she said that she was at lunch with Sammy, her oldest, the other day, and she mentioned that she heard something about threesomes. And Erika's like, we see a little flashback to that lunch, and Denise asked her, did you hear anything with the conversation? She goes, I don't know, I heard something about threesomes. And Denise goes, what about threesomes? And Sammy goes, that's all I'm going to say. And she said, well, you guys shouldn't have heard a lot of that. And she goes, Mom, we're not 5 years old. Yeah, but still. So Erika goes, I'm sorry, I don't have the cleanest mouth. And she said, oh, I don't either. But next time I think I'm just going to have to move the kids further away, like in the house. And they kind of laughed. But in Erika's confessional, she goes, I thought I was at Wild Thing's house. I guess not. Okay, Erika, just because she was in the movie Wild Things doesn't mean she wants people talking about threesomes real loud and swearing in front of her children and their friends. Because as Denise pointed out, I don't want any of these kids to go home and say, oh, we had a lot of fun over at Sammy and Lola's house. Yeah, her parents had friends over and they were talking about threesomes. Like she said, I've never been that house. Erika then asks Denise if she's going to come to her house before the launch party for Amelia and Delilah's line. And she said, yeah, I'm going to come. Who else is coming? And she said, I invited all the girls, so I don't know. I did talk to Kyle. And Denise said, yeah, what was going on with her? I didn't want her yelling, F you and F you in front of my kids. But I did want to know what was going on with her. And she said, I just think she's got a lot going on because she's filming a movie and she's got her line and, she's trying to be the perfect wife, perfect mother. And Denise just looks at her. And in Denise's confessional, she's like, okay, I'm shooting a movie. I'm dealing with a crazy ex-husband. I have a special needs child. I have to pay all the bills. I mean, we've all got a lot going on. Side note, can I just say that while I don't love Erika's candy apple shirt, I like it a lot better than Sutton's oyster shirt. A lot better. That scene ends with Denise telling Erika, by the way, I sent an email to all of you guys thanking you for coming to my house. She is the only one that didn't respond. And Denise said, so I must be one of the fake-ass bitches, I guess. You're the fake-ass ragamuffin. Now we're at Garcelle's, and I guess it is her twin's birthday. Her ex-husband is there, and they're setting everything up, and she tells us in her confessional that Beverly Hills parties are always over the top. Kids' parties, you'll have it like animals are brought in. Then we see Kyle bringing like a llama into Portia's birthday party. They spend $60,000. We get a flashback to Taylor Armstrong. I don't even remember her little girl's name, but it was like her 5th birthday. It had nothing to do with her whatsoever, but this party was just over the top. And Garcelle said, but that's not going to happen here because my kids are okay with donuts and ice cream and just having fun. A little reminiscent of Jackie Goldschneider from New Jersey, right? Honestly, I would lean more in that direction too, because those other parties, they have very, very little to do with the child whose birthday you're celebrating. I just think it's like showing off to the other adults. I don't like it. Okay, now we are at Lisa Rinna's house. She's getting her makeup done, and Lois is there, her mom. And she's giving her the itinerary. Okay, Mom, we're going to go to Erika's clubhouse for hors d'oeuvres and cocktails, and then we're going to the launch of the DNA clothing line. And then we're going to go out to dinner with some of my girlfriends. Okay, now people are starting to show up at Erika's clubhouse. What the hell is Erika's clubhouse? Is that like that studio that she had? Remember when she rented studio space for, I don't know, Erika Jane business? Is that what the clubhouse is? Because it looks like it's in the city. It's looks like an office building in the city or something. Okay, so the first to arrive are Dorit and Denise, and then soon after that is Kyle. She, tells us she's not looking forward to meeting all these ladies again because there were unresolved things at Denise's party. But there she is, and it's okay. They're kind of making small talk. Side note, Dorit has a ponytail that goes down to her feet. You guys, you know how with the show Sex and the City, they always used to say that the city was the 5th girl. I think that Dorit's hair should be able to hold a diamond at the beginning. I really feel like her clothing and her hairstyles are the, 6th woman or 7th woman? I really do. Without saying a word, they are already more interesting to me than Teddy, for example. I love her fashion choices, even when I don't. Love it. So Dorit starts to tell everyone that she told Jagger that Teddy had a little baby in her tummy. Denise goes, did he ask how it got there? And, wait till that happens and all that kind of stuff. But all in all, the conversation's pretty cordial. Now Teddy and Sutton arrive. And Erika's like, oh, Teddy, would you like some? You can't eat the sushi and you can't drink the drinks. I have water. Teddy's like, water would be great. Erika said something about, it's been a long time since I've had to entertain for a pregnant woman. Come on, though. There aren't that many women coming, and one of them happens to be pregnant. You think you could have something non-alcoholic or one item of food that isn't raw fish? And finally, Lisa and Lois arrive. And I think Lisa is probably the person that Kyle was least looking forward to confronting. So Lois might be a good buffer. Okay, well, Rinna asks Kyle if she could talk to her for a second privately. And she immediately apologizes. That was not the right example for me to make the other night. I shouldn't have made that example. Kyle's like, I didn't even think we had a problem that we had to get over. And she goes, we don't have a problem. And then Kyle has to take it one step further and say, I defended Dorit over Lisa Vanderpump. And we get the flashback. Again, I have a different opinion about that. She was defending Dorit's side of certain things, but I don't think that whole thing between Lisa Vanderpump and Kyle was all about Dorit. I don't. There was something brewing there with those two. Erika, Denise, and Dorit are having an interesting conversation. They're talking about when they were young. Dorit was asking Erika, was it dangerous here in LA when you were, 18 or whatever? And she goes, yes. She and Denise both said it was dangerous. And what about you? And she said, I went to Europe. I went to Italy. Oh, then Erika's like, we have to go to Italy. And she's like, yes, we do. We have to go. And Erika asked her, did you tell Denise about your restaurant? And she's like, oh, no. So we get a flashback of when she's telling Erika about, Buca di Beppo, the chain of Italian restaurants. And Erika's like, well, I love their chicken parm. And she said, yes, well, the owner of the chain of restaurants, I guess, is Jagger's godfather, maybe, or her godfather. I don't know. It wasn't clear. Wherever she moved, there's a Buca di Beppo around the corner or something, and she wanted to put her stamp on it. So she talked to the owner, and she's going to, I guess, redesign the inside of it. I don't know. I think it's weird. Are they all different inside? Usually chains have a similar look in every one, but I don't know. It kind of reminds me of Lisa Vanderpump. If you guys watch Vanderpump Rules, she has a suite at Caesar's Palace that she is designing. It's going to be the Lisa Vanderpump suite. So maybe it's a similar situation. This is going to be the Dorit Buca di Beppo. All right, well, Kyle and Rinna make up, and Kyle thinks it's very genuine, although she does recognize the fact that now they are going to her daughter's fashion show, and so there's a slight motivation for everything to be kind of copacetic and nobody to make waves there. Garcelle's the only one that's not there, but we know that it's her son's birthday party. So now that all the ladies are kind of standing around, Kyle said, I was going to say this at Denise's dinner, but I left a little early. There is a beautiful house just for an overnight, but I thought it would be great to have a little girls' trip. This beautiful house in Santa Barbara. I thought it would be fun, and, we just, of course, need to pick a date that works for everybody. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, that'd be fun. Kyle's like, I finished my movie, and then, I just want to celebrate. And everyone's kind of clapping, except for Denise. Denise, in her confessional, said, what does Kyle want? A medal? I do 10 episodes of The Bold and the Beautiful every week. You know what I do to celebrate? I make my kids dinner, and then I memorize my lines for the next week. Let me just say this. 2 things. 1, I would totally celebrate if I did a movie and I just rapped. I'm celebrating. And the other thing is, I love Denise's shade. Okay, so somebody asks Lisa, all right, what can we expect tonight? What are we going to see with the fashion show? And Lisa said, well, they are collaborating with somebody that you all know. I don't want to say anything more about it. You'll see. Sutton goes, oh, why do I feel scared all of a sudden? As Sutton is getting out of the little bus that they're taking, she says, I have a really bad feeling about something. Okay, I hope Lisa didn't hear you say that, because honestly, if my girls were about to put on some show or something, don't tell me you have a bad feeling. That's not cool. Sutton goes, I'm going to flip out. And Dorit's like, what? What's wrong? I just, you'll see. You'll see. She's like, what is going on? And then she says it again, I'm going to flip out. And then she goes, he's here. She goes, who's here? The makeup guy. Huh? What? In Dorit's confessional, she goes, I don't know Sutton well enough to know what she's capable of or what she's even talking about. All I know is don't go inside if you think you're going to do something crazy. You guys, this is the most bizarre conversation. The ladies are walking, I don't know, it seems like forever they're walking to get into this place. And all along, Sutton is having this conversation with Dorit. And Dorit's like, it's not the time to flip out. Sutton, It's not the time to f with me. The suspense is killing me. Okay, well, this was a big dud because she was worried that Joey Maloof was going to be there. She went into business with him and they had a big falling out, and she thought he was going to be at this thing. But no, she is lifted. Praise Jesus, because he is not there. She thought that was going to be Lisa's surprise. But the surprise was that they did a collab with the Fat Jewish. But was the collab that he just put the labels on the wine bottles? I'm not sure I totally understand that. The labels on the wine said, "I look hot AF in my DNA," something like that. And I don't know. Was that a big deal? Whatever. Yeah, so now Sutton just feels like a weight has been lifted off of her because that's not what she thought it was going to be. It's not the makeup guy. It's just the Fat Jewish. Denise and Kyle find themselves sitting together at a table. It's awkward. Nobody's talking. Lois is also there. And then finally Kyle turns to her and said, "I'm sorry I left abruptly from your party the other night. You know, I wasn't having a good time." And Denise is like, "Well, yeah, I could tell." And she said, "Yeah, you know, just in the moment was just feeling emotional, and you know how that is." And it was dumb. It was awkward. It wasn't really an apology. In Denise's confessional, she's like, "Yeah, I love Kyle's half-assed apology. She doesn't care what I think. She just has to tell me what her point of view is all the time." So, doesn't seem like things are going great with those two, but we're off to dinner now. So, what could go wrong? Okay, so they all get to the restaurant, sit down at the table. Right away, it starts with Dorit and Sutton. Sutton's like, "Wait, why is everybody looking at me?" And Dorit said, "Well, I just don't know what it means when you say you're going to freak out. Like, what does that mean? It just meant that I might start crying and I want to go home." We see the flashback to when she's telling the girls. She said, "I just thought I might be seeing our mutual friend." And then we see another flashback to, I think it was Teddy's retreat, when Sutton was telling the ladies that they have a mutual friend. It's Lisa's makeup guy, and he and Sutton had a falling out. So back at the table, she said, "But it all worked out because he wasn't there." Erika turns to Lisa and she goes, she's talking about Joey Maloof. Lisa goes, "Oh, well, why didn't you say something to me?" And Sutton goes, "Because I didn't even think of it until you said there was a collaboration or something. And then I started to freak out." And Dorit's like, "I just thought it was an inappropriate time." And Sutton's like, "What do you mean an inappropriate time?" And Denise goes, "Well, it was her daughter's event." Dorit goes, "And you were like, I'm going to freak the out." Sutton, "I didn't say it like that. What's wrong with you?" According to the playback, she didn't say she was going to freak the F out. She said, "I'm going to flip out." To Sutton's point, she was saying it quietly. And to say it was an inappropriate time, well, that was the time she thought she was about to run into this guy. Dorit goes, "That's an intense statement." Now, Lisa said, "Well, I'm glad you didn't say it in front of me because I would have kicked you the out." Okay, everybody is this is getting out of hand. Oh my God, you guys. Kyle just said, "I think this is getting blown out of proportion." I hate when I agree with somebody I'm not loving. But yeah, it is. And it's weird. Lisa's being really aggressive. "Oh yeah, I would have kicked you out if you had calm down, Lisa. She didn't say it to you." So Dorit's like, "I don't know you very well. And when I hear you say that," and Sutton starts crying and she's like, "Stop it. You're not very nice. No. Stop. You're mean." And then she goes, "Sutton, let me explain." "No. Shut the f up. I'm not listening to you." Oh my God. In Lisa's confessional, she's like, "Shame on Sutton. I don't care that she's my friend. She crossed a line. You don't fuck with my kids. How did you get that idea that she was gonna with your kids? Explain that to me. She says, I have a really bad feeling. Oh no. She thinks she's about to be confronted by someone that she's has a bad relationship with. How exactly is that her coming after your kids? Other than the fear that she was going to make a scene at their event, but you don't know that she was going to even do that. She really doesn't seem the type to make a scene, so she might have gone into the restroom, started crying, or left. For you to be like coming at her so aggressively, Lisa, that's bizarre to me. That to me is Lisa Rinna working really hard for storyline. I love a juicy storyline. I don't like when you try too hard for it though. Well, Sutton pulls herself together a little bit. She's furious with Dorit for bringing it up. You have your own business. I would think you would know what this would be like. In her confessional, she's like, I've heard rumors. I would never bring it up. But in this case, you just tend to your own house there. Like I said, she composes herself. Again, Kyle, voice of reason somehow. She's like, she would never do something, throw a drink or act crazy. And then Kyle goes, we'll leave that to Lisa. Sutton is furious and feels very, very attacked by Dorit. Dorit goes, you have to understand. I didn't know what you would do. And she's like, that's fine. You had your fun. Just let the mouse go, okay? Let the mouse go. Dorit goes, really? And she goes, really? Let the mouse go. Well, Kyle's like, let's move on to something else, please. And Dorit's like, the other day, Kyle, you said we weren't being honest. And part of moving forward is being honest. Kyle's like, what I said, it had multiple meanings. And then Denise is like, well, all I know is I had a table full of teenagers who acted more mature than we did. And someone's like, oh, just give them time. But Denise was like in no mood. And now Erika is annoyed with Denise. In her confessional, she's like, oh my God, let it go. You're not Mother of the Year, okay? Now we've got a bunch of little stuff that was just simmering under the surface is now starting to bubble up. Denise wants to press Kyle on calling them fake ass bitches, and she's like, I'm not singling you out. And Denise goes, I don't care if you single me out. I want to know what you meant by that. And she goes, okay, here's an example. You were all defending the glam makeup and workout clothes shoot that Dorit did before coming to the retreat. Denise is like, yeah, who cares about the photo shoot? Kyle goes, well, you were all about like being casual, no makeup or whatever. And now you're having this casual party and you're in full makeup and hair and everything. And you've got an ice sculpture. And she goes, I was in jeans and a sweater, and who cares about a fucking ice sculpture? So what? And then she leans over to Rinna and she's like, you've been at my house before. I've had a camel when the kids wanted that for their birthday. And Lisa's like, yeah, oh yeah, I rode a camel at her house. And she's like, so what? It doesn't make me fake. Kyle, I'm explaining how I felt in the moment. Dorit in her confessional said, Kyle, your dear friend, sister, confidant, came her first season, no makeup. Second year, glam every day. So she's trying to make the point that second year housewives learn how to get on the glam bus. Anyway, Dorit goes, and I never had a peep out of your mouth. This is your double standard when it comes to Teddy and everyone else. Oh, then we get the shadiest Denise Richards confessional. Half of the time when these ladies see me, I am coming from the set. So yes, I've got hair and makeup on. I am fucking Denise Richards. Oh, so good. Kyle, I don't think these bitches know. I've been on like every fucking magazine cover that they would ever want to be on. It's so good. Oh, I am going to miss you when you leave, Denise. So good. Anyway, then she tells Kyle at the table, you know what? You don't let some people talk. Do you realize that? And Kyle goes, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, talk. Denise goes, no, thank you. Because you talk at us and you don't listen. And Denise is like, no, you need to shut up. And she's like, no, I don't, Denise. And Denise goes, then I'm not going to talk. And she goes, good. I wanted you to talk, but not if you're going to be an asshole. Erika turns to Denise and goes, Denise. Now there's silence. Erika's like massaging her temples. Everybody's quiet. Rinna, I think maybe I should take Lois home. And Sutton goes, why? And then everyone burst out laughing. Then she asks Lois for some sage advice. And she said, you're going to think back about this and you're going to say, oh, that was crazy to fight about that. And then you're going to wake up and you're 81. Rinna goes, you're 91, actually. Lois goes, oh, I forgot. And everybody is just laughing and having a great time. Well, not everybody. Denise is not quite over this. But that is where this episode ends. All right, you guys, that's it from me. Thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe to Jill Informed if you haven't already. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. I love to hear from you guys. When you have to go out in public, please wear a mask and stay 6 feet apart. I want you to stay safe. I want you to stay healthy. Wash your hands. I love you guys. I will be back next week with the next recap of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I hope you join me. Bye.